Alright, YouTube, here you go. This is as promised, day 2 of the Casey Anthony trial, part 2. Where I left off the last time was, they had Maria Kish on the stand, and, I left off at when Casey was talking about how much she paid her, nanny at $400 a week. So the next thing that they asked her about the next morning, and Maria said she had a discussion with Casey about Kaylee's dad, and Casey said he was deceased, which is really no big surprise because we've been hearing that anyways. Casey told Maria that her parents were moving out and giving her the house, and never told her again because they asked, same question, different person, she never told her that Kaylee was missing and kidnapped. Defense has crossed her, or defense cross-examination of her. She told them that it struck her odd that Casey was there all the time, and it didn't bother her that Casey was there all the time. And then Jose Baez was like, well, are you sure? Because your boyfriend was living there. Are you sure? And she goes, didn't bother me. It had nothing to do with me. Her and Tony were dating. They go to lunch recess, and then the state calls Brian Berner, and he's the neighbor of Casey, of George and Cindy Anthony. He has met Lee Anthony. Okay, June 15th, 16th, 2008. He took a vacation, returned the eve of 6/16/08. On 6/17/08, saw Casey's car backing into the garage, not familiar with anyone else driving her car, meaning she was the only one that he knew of driving her car. Had never seen her back the car in the garage before. On 6/18, he was doing yard work. Casey approached Brian at about 1:30 p.m. to borrow a shovel, and she said to remove a bamboo root. Casey brought the shovel back about an hour or so later. On 6/19 or 6:20, he said he saw her car between 12 and 3. Car backed into the garage again. He said she seemed normal. The defense crossed. Casey did not tell him her daughter was missing or any of that good stuff. And when they were talking about her car being backed in again between 12 and 3, Casey very casually looking around, and also looking very tired. Redirect saw Casey with a male in the driveway of the Anthony home. Didn't see Casey's car. Only vehicle was one. He doesn't recall what kind it was, and that had to be Tony Lazzaro's. Okay, so then they call state witness Jamie Relander. Between May and July 2008, she was working at a hotel. End of May, beginning of June, she met Casey at Fusion. First met Casey in May, and she said she seemed very happy. At one point, she was employed at Fusion as a shop girl, and did it on more than one occasion. 6/27/08 saw Casey through another shop girl. Said she would. Through another shop girl, she was told that Casey that she would go to Casey with any questions. On 6/20/08, she saw Casey at Fusion in the hot body contest where she was wearing the blue dress. She did not say she had a daughter until a phone conversation on 7/15/08. Casey invited Jamie to Kaylee's birthday party for the next month, which was in August. The fence crossed, and as Casey she knew was nice, respectful, and that the shop girls were taken care of. Casey was like a big sister to the shop girls. So the defense is trying to really pull out that she is a wonderful and brilliant person. Again, state witness again, Erica Gonzalez. She worked at Fusion as a shop girl once every Friday. Met Casey at Fusion. She said if anything happened to the shop girls, she, meaning Casey, would protect the shop girls. Told Erica worked. She told Erica that she worked at Islands of Adventure, which is really weird because that's different from what she was saying to everybody else. That she worked at Universal. She said she explained not an incident, but one occasion where they were all in the bathroom at Fusion and they were taking pictures, and Casey had explained, um, had compared her being there with them and her having a daughter. Um, she did not tell her. Casey did not tell her what Kaylee's name was, or the age, or that she was missing or kidnapped. Casey was normal, happy, and having a good time. She says. She texted Casey saying, "I'm here for you if you need anything." Casey said thank you, and she was worried, and said that she was worried and that the nanny had her. Defense Cross asked if she had ever seen Casey drinking or getting drunk. She said no. And then said, "Did you know that Kaylee had died?" And had no idea how she died. To that question, Mr. Baez asked, okay, so at this point, they were going into an afternoon recess, and Judge Perry had said something, "Is it time for your special break?" to the jury for those who knew who he was talking about. Everybody laughed, and Casey sitting there laughing at what the judge said about the special recess for jurors, and I'm assuming he meant for the ones that smoke, because he had said something about that, the way he said it, and outside, and all that good stuff. So after that little 15-minute recess, State calls Anthony Lazzaro. Anthony said he moved into Sutton Place Apartments at the end of August 2007. He has a 97 Jeep Grand Cherokee. He met Casey on Facebook in 2008. Met in person at a friend's birthday party, end of May. First impression that she was a pretty girl, and they hit it off. June 2nd, Casey came over with Kaylee, and they went to the pool. June 13th, Casey, Kaylee, and Tony went to the mall Millennium so he could promote an event there. And he said that he went one way, and Casey and Kaylee went another way while he was doing what he needed to do. Casey drove on that day, and then after that, Casey drove Tony back home, and that was the last time he says he's seen Kaylee. Casey told Tony she worked at Universal and something to do with events. She walked into his house with a Universal ID badge. She mentioned a Jeff at Universal and some other girls' names, but he don't remember them at this time. She told her mom she told him that her mom or a babysitter, Zanny, would watch Kaylee while Casey was at work. She did not tell him where she lived. She did not tell him where the babysitter lived, and did not tell him if she watched any other children. He doesn't recall her telling him how much she paid the nanny. On June 13, 2008 was the first time Casey went to Fusion, and Casey went home with Tony that night and stayed the night. Mid to late June, Casey started staying the night at Tony's, like constantly. On 6/16/08, they went to Blockbuster, and they showed a video to the jury and everybody else of that surveillance video of Blockbuster, and he said that she was happy as normal and happy to see him. She stayed the night on 6/16/08. Next day she was there, and he did not go to school. He as in his words, he played hooky because he didn't want to leave his bed. And when asked what they did that day, he said they just stayed in his bedroom. And for all of us out there who can put two and two together, we know why. And he said that she did not show any other behavior than happy. 6/19/08. Went to look for another place to live. Casey went with him. She did not look at the apartment with him because she did not have her ID with her. Casey said her and Amy Huizenga were going to move into the Anthony's home because because the Anthony's were moving, and her and Amy were going to get an apartment together. 6:20 went to Fusion with Casey. Hot body contest. 6:20:08. Casey was asked to do it. Casey told him that she was asked to do it. No difference in Casey's demeanor. Did not tell him that Kaylee was missing or kidnapped, or that she was looking for Kaylee. Then she ran out of gas at Chickasaw. They went to her house, took 2 gas cans out of the shed where he broke the lock for her, and went to her where her car was. Casey put gas cans in trunk after she was done putting the gas in her car. He went to New York on 6:30, and then they go back to 6:27. Casey ran out of gas again at Amscott. She was outside the car when he got there with bags of groceries in her hand. Casey told Tony that she didn't run out of gas. Okay, she told Tony that her car had broken down. Casey said her father would take care of it when he offered to if there was anything he could do, like if he could take a look at it or anything. 6:27:08 went to Fusion again. Casey drove Tony to airport in his Jeep. Casey was supposed to take Tony's car back to his apartment, and he was unaware of her driving around in it, and that was not an agreement between them, and she was not supposed to be driving around using his car. Defense crosses. Asked if Casey ever talked about murdering anyone, or if she had any weapons or duct tape. He said no. Casey did raise her voice at Kaylee when they were at the pool because Kaylee got too close to the pool. So I think that's where the defense is going with that. Trying to set up where Kaylee left the pool so it would kind of show she drowned in the pool. That is the end of day 2. I believe Tony Lazzaro is going to be recalled in the morning as the first witness for the state. Because I remember I heard the judge say, you know, Mr. Lazzaro, it'll start at 9 o'clock in the morning, and counsel will tell you, you know, where to report, when to report, whatever. Oh, and then he told both sides again, if there's anything that needs to be discussed before court tomorrow, they can let the bailiff know at 8:20 to let him know. And then he will do it at 9:20, which is 8:40. So today wasn't a whole lot of interesting. It's a lot of stuff that we already know. It's a lot of stuff that, like I said, we already know. We don't really need to keep going into all this. I haven't heard anything real interesting yet today. I do know Jose Baez is objecting to everything beneath the sun, and pretty much was denied, especially the pictures he did not want shown. So, that's where we're going to end today, YouTube. Check back with me tomorrow at their lunch recess, or an extended period of a recess that they have. I will definitely post an update of day 3.